Hola, buenas tardes. Me llamo David Vasco. Could you understand what I said? If you couldn't, then that means good afternoon. My name is David Vasco. Now, today I would actually like to talk to you about a very important topic, which is why you need to learn Spanish. Now, I'm sure most of us have come across a situation that maybe we're working or we're walking somewhere, and we go and we come up to a person we're not able to communicate to, or we just cannot understand what they're saying. I'm sure most of us have come across a situation. Now, how many of those times has it been that they spoke Spanish? Now, I'm sure most of us have come across someone that always tells us it's good to know another language. I'm sure most of us in our lives have been told that. But have they actually told you the reasons why it is so beneficial to know that? Now, today, that is what I would like to talk to you about. I would actually like to bring out to you 5 different points into why you need to learn Spanish. The first point is that it will open up job opportunities. The second one is that it can help you fully enjoy some entertainment. The third, it can make it easier to learn other languages. The fourth, it is spoken in several different countries. And fifth and finally, it can help with your mental health. Now, let's take it back to the first point, which is that it can help and open up job opportunities. Now, I'm sure most of us know that there's translators, there's interpreters. Now, these jobs can open up in different locations. It can be in a courtroom, it can be in an embassy. There's different kinds of jobs that can open up just if you knew Spanish. Now, I can give you another instance. I lived in New York for some time, and I worked there as a shoe salesman. Now, just knowing Spanish, it actually opened up a lot of, you could say a lot of doors for me to be able to have more sales. There did come some customers that only know Spanish, and just for knowing Spanish, I was able to communicate with them, and I was able to get some sales. So it is very beneficial to be able to know that here in the United States. But not only here in the United States, let's say you want to travel, you want to go to another country, and you want to try something new. So if you want to do that also, going to another country and knowing Spanish, it can open up a lot of job opportunities for you as well. So let's say you want to go to one of the big countries known for speaking Spanish. You want to go to Spain, you want to go to Mexico, you want to go to Colombia, you want to go to all these different countries. And just by knowing Spanish before going there will actually open up a whole lot of opportunities for you. So we have talked about the job opportunities that can open up for you. And also, knowing this, there are all these different kinds of countries that speak Spanish. Now, according to lingonda.com, it states that there are around 20 different countries in which the main spoken language is Spanish. Now, besides this, there are many other different countries in which Spanish is like the second most spoken language. To give you an example, the United States. We know for sure the main spoken language here in the United States is English, since it's the main language. But we do know that there's also a lot of Spanish-speaking people here in the United States. Now, around the world, there's around 550 million people that speak Spanish. And bringing that about, knowing that all these different people speak Spanish, and all these different countries also are Spanish-speaking countries, that will bring me to the next point, which is, according to closeteachers.com, that there are different, you could say TV shows, or you could say movies, or songs that by knowing Spanish, you could actually be able to fully understand what they're saying. Because when you translate, or when you put subtitles into one of those things, you just do not get the same meaning. You don't get the same feeling of what they're trying to tell you. Now, I'm sure most of us have maybe gone through Netflix, especially through this time, and I've heard that this is one of the most famous TV shows there. Now, I've been told that it's very good, but I'm very certain that by being able to listen to it in the mother language, which is Spanish, you'll probably be able to grasp more what the show is all about. If you were wanting to listen to it in English or look at subtitles, it will be very, very different. So now we have seen about TV shows, movies, or songs that it's much better if you're able to see them in Spanish. Now, if you want to go to different countries now, Now you want to look at other TV shows and movies that were produced in different countries. You could go maybe to an Italian or Portuguese. All these different countries produced films. And you can see that just by knowing Spanish, you are actually able to understand better these different languages. So take for example Italian or French or Portuguese, or there's Catalan, all these different languages. It will be much easier to learn once you learn Spanish, because they all come from the same root, you could say. They all come from the same, which is Latin. And I can tell you by this, when I was in high school and I took French when I was in my freshman year or I was in my sophomore year, by knowing Spanish and by knowing English and by knowing Italian, it actually helped me out a lot in that class. It actually helped me to be able to stay a little bit ahead of my fellow students, because whatever the professor was teaching me, a lot of times it was very similar, like the words or the phrases were very similar to a phrase that I already knew in Spanish. So it actually helped me out a lot to be able to learn all these basic phrases that they wanted to teach me in my French class. So now we have gone about all these different benefits that it can have for you right now. If you were to right now take up and you just want to learn Spanish. But how can this help me once I become older? Once I'm in my later times, my later stage of my life? Now, according to BBC News, it says that it can actually also help you with your mental health. It says that it can help slow down brain aging, which is a study done by Annals of Neurology. It shows that learning a second language can actually help to slow down the onset of dementia by several years. Now I'm sure most of you know what dementia is. We've seen it in a lot of cases with our grandparents, or maybe another loved one, or maybe our friends' grandparents. We know that we can see that they forget many things, or they cannot do any basic things that we might be able to do. And this study shows that by knowing another language, like giving an example, Spanish, can actually help to be able to delay that as much as possible, which is actually a truly big benefit for one in the long run. So now we have talked about all these different benefits that we can have from learning Spanish. It can open up job opportunities, like I mentioned at first. It can help understand better all these movies, TV shows, music. It can help you to be able to go to other countries and be able to understand what they're saying. And also, as I said, it can make it easier to learn other languages, like Italian, or French, or Portuguese. There's even Romanian, all these different languages, as well as it can help with your mental health, as I have last mentioned here. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of other reasons that one can bring to you as to why you should learn Spanish, but I hope that these facts that I have brought out to you today will actually is enough to make you at least consider learning it. So, ¿qué esperas? Ponte a aprender.